Hello and welcome here to Priors Flat at Hexham for this game between Tynedale and Shotley Bridge. It's Shotley Bridge batting first here, 57 for 3 now, and we're just about to bowl, Tom Cant's just about to bowl the 18th over. So, in the sunshine here. Here he goes now around the wicket, bowling to Burden, who it's pitched on a good length and just lets that one through to the wicket-keeper, and there's no run. Still 57 for 3 now, Shotley Bridge at the crease. Ross Burden, he's 1 not out, and Greg Patterson, he's 23. As Cant bowls to Burden again, and again he just lets it outside the off stump and leaves it alone, and Crichton there behind the wicket takes it and throws the ball back to Tom Cant. Got one slip in place. Cant again around the wicket. Up in he goes, and there's Burden, who just defends this one down behind square, and it's picked up by Stevenson there, who's fielding at a backward point just inside the 30-yard circle. So we've got a slip and a backward point, and 2 catching inside the circle square of the wicket there. Now here's Cant, moves into bowl to Burden again, a crouch stance, and that's full, and it's driven back, and there's a little appeal there from Tom Cant. I think he's asking about the catch here, caught and bowled. It looked to me as if it went into the ground, but Tom Cant's appealing now, and neither umpire has moved here. They're asking the square leg umpire Peter Robertson as well, but he says no. So the umpires have obviously adjudged it a bump ball, and umpire Allen at this end with his sunglasses on, just speaking to Cant again here. Now we're just about to settle in again. So Cant to bowl to Burden, and he goes. He bowls now, and that's full again, and it's just pushed in the gap there between extra cover and backward point, and it's fielded by Parker, who comes running in off the house end boundary from deep cover, picks it up and throws in. So there was a single to the total there. Burden's moved to 2. The score goes to 58 for 3 here, Shotley Bridge. Now Patterson on strike. 1 slip still in place. In goes Cant again and bowls full again, and Patterson just pushes this one back to him down the pitch towards us here, coming forward, and Cant picks it up, and that's the end of the over. So a bit of excitement in that one there. Just there was no fielders went up from the Tynedale side in that caught and bowled. Only Cant, it was Burden who drove it back to him, swung the bat hard at it, sort of a jab down shot, and I must admit, first impressions from here, that was a bump ball, but we're about 70 yards away here, and it was Cant who asked the question, but for quite a long time as well, and neither umpire responded in Tynedale's favour there. So we're going to have David Newton to start the fresh over from the top end, and he's going to come in and bowl to Ross Burden, the left-hander. So we've got 1 slip, a gully, a backward point, a deep cover and extra, and a deep square leg as well. Newton in now to bowl to Burden, who drives a full ball, and that's 4 up to the long on boundary at the top end there. A full toss. Burden was under it quickly just outside his off stump, and placed it there between the stumps and mid-on, which is Josh Renton, who opened the bowling here this afternoon. 62 for 3 now in the 19th over this is. So there's a drinks break coming up after 25. So here's David Newton again, runs in towards us here and bowls full again, and it's outside the off stump, and Burden just goes to jam his bat down there, and he misses it, and I think that hit Crichton somewhere on the ankle or somewhere like that, because he's down behind the stumps now, just in a little bit of pain, but he'll be up again in a minute. Maybe it hit his thumb or something like that, but he's back up now, standing close up here for David Newton. So here's Newton again, bowling to Burden. Burden drives this time, but he doesn't time it, and it runs up there to Fletcher, who's fielding at mid-off, deep mid-off. So there's 1 slip for the left-hander, a gully, a backward but close backward point, a deep cover and extra cover, a deep mid-off, a deep mid-on, a mid-wicket, 8 or 9 yards inside the circle, and a deep square leg, deep backward square leg across to the right. Newton again now full, and a sway, he's out, it's edged it. and Burden is gone. Caught it first slip by Tom Cant, and David Newton has his first wicket of the afternoon, and it's 62 for 4 now, Shotley Bridge, in the 19th over. So Burden is gone. He not much feet movement there. His head seemed to go, but his feet didn't move, and it was a big swipe outside the off stump to a ball slanted across him there from David Newton. So there we go. Burden comes back into the dressing rooms next to the clubhouse here on our left, and it looks like it's Lewis Hall who's going out to bat with his shirt untucked, with his shirt sleeves on. The weather at the moment, it's breezy out there, but it's warm as well. The clouds, just about as much cloud up there as there is blue sky at the minute, and the breeze is taking the clouds from over our left shoulder here across towards the east there, over towards Corbridge. We're broadcasting from down in the clubhouse as usual, where we've been for much of the time here at Priors Flat this season, down behind third man for the right-handed Lewis Hall, who's just about to take his guard. So there we go, Burden out for 6. And it's going to be David Newton now. So there's still going to be one slip in a gully in the field, just about the same for Hall here, except we've turned, it's a mirror image for the left-hander, as Newton is up there at the top of his run now. He's on his way. Lewis Hall goes forward and plays forward, and it just comes off a thick edge there, and the ball ricochets off, and it's fielded by Paul Newton in there at gully. Now Jamie Crichton's got a problem again here. He seems to have hurt his hand. He's thrown the glove off. He's twisted or struck something or pulled something, but he's back behind the stumps, close up for Newton now, who bowls again to Hall, who pushes a full ball up there to Fletcher at mid-on, and there's no run, and that's the end of the over. And it looks like his right leg, which Crichton has stretched, and I'm sure that ball may have just perhaps hit him on the ankle when he was when Burden missed a ball before. But the batsmen here are asking for the sight screen to be changed around. But that's the end of the over anyway. 62 for 4 Shotley Bridge in the first innings here. 19 gone. It's Patterson who's on 23, and it is Hall who's yet to score. So the men out are Milburn, he was the first wicket for 4, then Greenwell, that was in the 4th over, that was 2 for 15, then Allen, LBW to Cant, as Cant bowls again now, this time to Patterson, who plays back up to extra cover there, and Josh Renton picks it up, and there's no run. And then Burden was the last man to go with the score at 62. So 4 down for 62 here, as in goes Cant bowling to Patterson, the right-hander, who's forward and pushes behind square this time on the offside over towards the tennis courts there, and it's Stevenson who picks up at backward point and throws the ball to Renton, who pops up a little catch to the bareheaded Cant at the moment, with his shirt tucked in and his fair hair just getting tousled about there in the wind as he moves in. Cant bowling to Patterson, who's forward and playing him missing outside the off stump this time, and it's Crichton who takes it safely enough up there. Came forward to a well pitched ball there and didn't quite get to it, and that's been the teasing length on this. There's been a lot of rain here, well, a fair bit of rain here at Priors Flat over the last few days. The outfield is lushened up, but Cant bowling to Patterson again, and that one rushed onto him, and he had to bring the bat down at an angle, just leaning back into his crease there, and he plays out across the line to Rainford there at mid-wicket, and he picks it up off the ground, and there's no run. 62 for 4 Shotley Bridge. Cant bowling again to Patterson. Patterson's forward this time, defending the ball back down the pitch, and it's picked up by Cant, and there's no run. So we've got one slip and a short third man, a backward point now, the gully's gone, a deep cover, an extra, a mid-off, a mid-on, a mid-wicket and a deep backward square. And there's the next one from Cant, and It's Patterson who's driving this one out to the tennis court side to the left there, but a nice stop, a very good stop there by Renton in at extra cover, diving down to his right. And that's the end of the 20th over. So we've got 5 to go until the first drinks break here this afternoon on Speaker Internet Radio on Cricket West Tyne. You've joined us in this 17th match of the season for these two clubs, and Tynedale they're in 5th position, 1-9 lost 5, 2 abandoned, and 316 points to Shotley Bridge, who are in 2nd place on 367 points. They are 111 lost 2 and 2 abandoned. But Newton now to bowl to Hall, who takes up the attack, and Hall just pushes this one to the offside, and it's fielded by Rainford in there at extra cover. So one slip, a gully, a backward point, deep cover over at the house end there. Rainford in at extra cover, mid off, mid on, a mid wicket, straight mid wicket, and a deep square leg. Newton again bowling to Hall, who jams the bat down on a full ball, and that pitch just in front of his toes there at this end, and he plays out to the offside square, and it's picked up by Stevenson there at backward point, who throws it to Rainford. No run. And here's Newton again now, about to come into bowl. Bowling to Hall. And there's an edge, but fortunately it went into the ground. And it's Newton there who picked it up there, gully. And again, Hall, as one or two of the Shotley batsmen have done, he lurched forward at that one. And there's very little foot movement, and it took a thickish edge and down into the ground, but safe enough. But here's David Newton again coming in, 1 wicket to his name, bowling to Hall, and he's forward this time, not far, but he's able to take that one just in front of the shin, his knee there, and the ball goes out to the offside, and there's no run. It's picked up there at extra cover. Now there's a little bit of chat going on in the field there, looking towards the dressing rooms here, but it seems to have passed by. The problem's been sorted. But Newton comes in again now and bowls to Hall, who goes to drive and edges again, and there's a misfield here in at backward point, Stevenson, but he quickly recovers there to pick up, and that was a good length ball again by Newton. It rushed on, coming into the right hander, and Hall was again out forward, bat right in front, driving away. It took the edge, beat Paul Newton there at gully, and it was Stevenson who picked up from backward point at this near end. So there was a single to the total there, 63 for 4 now. As in comes Newton again, bowling to Patterson this time, who just pushes out to the leg side, and that's the end of the over. The end of the 21st. Shotley Bridge 63 for 4. Patterson 23 not out. And Hall 1 not out. The men out so far: Milburn, Greenwell, Allen and Burden. And the wickets fell at 10, 15, 51 and 62. And the wickets one each for Josh Renton, Matthew Scott, Cant and David Newton. So Matty Scott again opening the bowling this week like he did last week against Lanchester for Tynedale. It's been his fast rise. He made his debut earlier in the season for the first team, and he's quite meteoric really. 4 games and then he's opening the bowling. But Candidates who moves in now and bowls to Hall, who's forward driving, and it's going up there towards the tennis courts. It's picked up now by Scott, the aforementioned Scott, who throws into Cant the bowler. And there's one more to Hall. He goes to 2, and the score goes to 64 for 4, Shotley Bridge in the 22nd over here. Cant bowling to Patterson again, who defends this one down under the offside from on his crease there. And there's no run. And now Cant back to his mark again. From our end here, the clubhouse end, in he goes again now. Bowling to Patterson, who's back and edges, and it's going between slip and short third man there, running up to the boundary for 4. So Not where I think he intended it there, Patterson, but the runs all count and the score goes to 68. It was tempted him wide there from Kant, but it seemed to drift back into him and pick up a bit of pace, and Patterson went to cut it, but very fine between slip and short third man for the boundary. So Patterson's gone to 27 as Kant bowls again now. And Patterson's forward, driving up here to Percival at deep mid-on, and they come scuttling through for a single. Good running there from Patterson, saw that one early. He comes down to umpire Allen's end now, holding a jump on his left arm there. Now he folds his arms and waits for Kant to move in past him. And he does so now, bowling to Hall this time, and Hall goes to drive, but that's crept through somehow, a little inside edge under the ankle maybe, and it's run out on to the leg side there, and Crichton goes across to our right here and picks that one up, and there's no run again. 69 for 4 now, Shotley Bridge. Bright sunshine now here at Priors Flat. A little bit less cloud as well, a big patch of blue sky across to the left. In goes Kant again now, and Hall plays that one like the textbook there. Textbook forward defensive, a nice high left elbow, and it goes out under the offside. Renton picks up, and that's the end of the over. 69 for 4 Shotley Bridge after 22. So we've got 3 overs to go here until the first drinks break of the match. Just one in each innings today. Hall 2 not out, Patterson 28, and Tynedale still exuding a bit of confidence after these early successes here. Kant smiling away there, standing at slip at the moment. He's got a few days of cricket in hand. He's taken the county away down to play Lincolnshire tomorrow, Northumberland that is, as Newton takes up the attack again and bowls to Patterson, who drives a full one square, but it goes straight along the ground, and it's Ewan Stevenson who picks up there at backward point, and there's no run. So the Tynedale team: Crichton, Kant, Paul Newton, Stevenson, Parker, Rainford, Renton, Fletcher, Ollie Fletcher that is, Percival and Scott, as Newton comes in again now and bowls, and that one's turned to the leg side up towards the tennis courts there, where Scott runs in and picks up, concedes 1 run there, and that takes the score to 17 now for 4, and it's Patterson who's gone to 29, brings on Hall to strike. Shotley Bridge team: Patterson, Milburn, Greenwell, Allen, Andrews, Burden, Hall, Rowley, May, Gibson and Phillips for today's match. Now in comes Newton again now, bowling to Hall. Hall just pushes a full ball this time on the stumps, back up the pitch to Newton there, and umpire Robertson at the far end with his floppy sun hat on always seems to have a little tilt to his right hand side as he stands there, sort of leans into the stumps, having a good look up the pitch as he looks up towards us here. As Newton turns at the end of his mark, now he comes in to bowl to Hall. Hall drives a full toss, but he doesn't time it or place it well. It's just a couple of bounces there into Rainford at extra cover, and he picks it up and he gives the ball a good polish on his right thigh there. Plenty of Shotley spectators here at Priors Flat, and a few of the Tynedale ones up on the decking across to the right there. Not many walking around the ground. The seats 2 down by the scoreboard as Newton bowls to Hall again, and that strikes him on the pad. He tried to just sort of fell away to the offside trying to play that shot, and he was a little late trying to flick that one off his legs there into the leg side, so it struck his pad and went out to the offside, and there's no run again, and the ball's up there with Renton now, who throws it back to David Newton, and it looks like there's 2 kids just coming in here for an ice cream, as in comes Newton again, and that's turned round the corner this time by Hall. They've got through for 1. Scott races round towards us here and picks up, throws in a good throw right under the stumps there from Scott at this near end, and that's the end of the over, the end of the 23rd. So drinks about to go out in a couple of overs time. It's 71 for 4 now, Shotley Bridge. Hall has 3, 29 to Patterson. The men out so far: Milburn, Greenwell, Allen and Burden, and the wickets have gone 1 each to Josh Renton, Matty Scott, Tom Cant and David Newton, and they're the 4 bowlers that have bowled so far for Tynedale. Cant to take up the attack again, and he's in and bowls, and Hall's driving square, and they're going for a quick one here, and it's a quick throw to the bowler's end, and it's missed the stumps, and it's backed up there by Percival, who's here at deep mid-on. So 1 more to the total, 72, and Hall goes to 4. 72 for 4 now, Shotley Bridge. And in moves Cant again, and he goes. Bowls to Patterson this time, drops one short, and he's able to turn that one up towards the long leg boundary. The chase is on here, there's runs as well. Parker slides, and it's gone, has it? Yes, it's gone for 4. Yes, there's the signal from the umpire Allen down at this end. So good attempt there from Parker, but just couldn't get there in time, and he had a long way to run right round from deep square leg up towards the far end there from the house end. So it's 76 for 4 now. Patterson's gone to 33. Cant to bowl again, better length this time, has Patterson raised up slightly there and plays it down into the offside from the crease, and there's no run. Renton picks it up, throws the ball back to Cant, who's quickly back now. Turns now, here he goes. On the way again, bowling to Patterson, who's forward and plays and misses outside the off stump this time. That just tempted him down. He seemed to be a little late bringing his bat down to meet the ball there, but he played down the wrong line anyway, and it just crept past the edge through to Crichton. So Cant's got the ball again now, thrown back to him by Crichton. 1 slip in place and a short third man at point. As Cant bowls full again, and this is driven by Patterson. Up there for 1 to the edge of the circle at sort of a square, deep mid-on. That's Fletcher there. Deep mid-off, I beg your pardon. And he fields and throws the ball back to Cant. So 1 more to the total, 77 now, as in goes Cant to bowl again to Hall, who drives hard and thrashes that one, and it's come off a thick edge, and it's raced past the right hand in the air, a bit of point there. A brilliant stop up there on the boundary from Matty Scott over by the practice nets. He throws in now, and I think they got 3 runs there with Hall coming back down to this end. So yes, that was the end of the over. So we've got 78 now for the scoreboard's reading for Shotley Bridge. 1 more over, and we'll have this is the 25th coming up, so halfway through the innings here. 1 more over, and then the drinks break will be coming up, and Hall is 5 not out, and just Patterson there is 34 not out. There's a lot of hand signals going on out there at the minute, but it's going to be Newton to take up the attack now. Almost clear blue sky, just 1 or 2 bits of cloud floating about here at Prior's Flat now. A slight breeze, and there's Hall driving out to the offside this time, and it's picked up there by Rainford, who gives the ball another good polish. He always leans over forward, always as if he's looking for a pound coin he's dropped on the floor when he polishes the ball. Leans right over to get some energy into it. But here's Newton again. David Newton this is. Comes in to bowl to Hall. 1 slip in a gully. Hall turns this one to the leg side, and that's Percival in there, I think it is. Who fields that one at mid-wicket. And there's no run. Just tumbles away to his left there, picks himself up, and puts himself back in position just on the one of the uncut pitches there. On the pitch this afternoon, there's almost a green strip down the offside of the wicket at the moment. As in comes Newton again now and bowls, and that's full on the stumps, and Hall just drops the bat on it there, and it bounces out to Rainford at extra cover. And there's no run, so 78 for 4 now still, and it's after this over we're going to have another drinks break. Here's Newton again now to bowl. He's coming now and he bowls, and there's Hall who plays out to the offside again, and it's Peter Robertson, the umpire, just up there. Drinks break coming up after this over. They're about to Newton it is who's about to get the ball at that top end. Gets it now. Now he's coming in to bowl to Hall. Bowls, and he's please bowled him. He's out. Hall's out. So we'll have the drinks breaks now, I think, because there's a wicket fallen. Hall is out, bowled by Newton, who takes his second wicket. And now the score 78 for 5, Shotley Bridge. And yes, there's the girls away on with the drinks. So 78 for 5 now, Shotley Bridge. And Hall has been bowled by Newton for 5. And it was the one that just edged back into him there. He went forward and it got through his defences. And Shotley lose their 5th wicket at 78 here. Patterson's still there on 34, but drinks are on the field now. We'll be back in a few moments after we hear from our advertisers here on Speaker Internet Radio on the Cricket West Tyne programme.
You're listening to Cricket West Tyne program on Spreaker Online and Podcast Radio in association with the Royal Oak Country Pub, Cornsey Colliery, experts in business consultancy, and Cannon Bristle and Dairy Products. Drink well, eat well, do business well, listen well.
Welcome back here to Prior's Flat. Drinks break on at the moment. This is our first broadcast of the afternoon here. Drinks are on the field at the moment. 78 for 5, Shotley Bridge batting first after 25. And Patterson is there on 34. I'm just trying to see who the new batsman here is for Shotley Bridge. And it looks like it's Jack Rowley who's gone out to bat, left-hander. He's just down in front of us here. He'll not be having a drink just yet. We got the picnic going on over to the right there. Some of the spectators. The table's down on the boundary side there, occupied. A couple of the seats up on the bank side there in front of the car park as well. And the sun is out here for an afternoon of cricket at Prior's Flat. I've just spotted Peter Collingwood there. He was in the clubhouse before, and you should have heard his reaction when Sunderland scored that winner into the 5th minute of injury time in the football in their match with Charlton. The season's starting, but now we've got the drinks are off the field now. Shotley Bridge 78 for 5 in the 25th. And I was saying there before, this pitch on the leg side now to the left-handed Rowley, there's sort of like a thin green strip. The rest of the pitch looks as if it's got very little grass on it, but this green strip running up it. As Newton bowls his first ball to Rowley, who drives, and it's stopped by the diving Rainford there in extra cover, and they get one anyway. They rush through, and Rowley gets off the mark straight away. 79 for 5, and that was the last ball of the over. The drinks break having come after the fall of that wicket. Hall, who went there, he went for 5 with the score at 78. So Patterson's still there, 34 not out. Tom Cant about to take up the attack for Tynedale again, and what a gorgeous view. We're getting up the North Tyne and we're across to the left there above Acomb, and then you come right round the skyline there with the trees across towards Oakwood and Beaufront, and we're up on the top as well, and then gradually down past the Sandtour way up towards Corbridge there with the Egger chimney. We can just see the steam puffing away above the houses at the moment. I think it's the steam, unless that's a rogue cloud's just come across there. We can't actually see the chimney from where we are, but here's Tom Cant, who moves in and bowls, and it's full, and Rowley pushes out to extra cover again where Rainford fields, and there's no run. And then we come across the top of the terraces of houses as we look back now, and here's Cant about to go in again, bowling to Rowley, the left-hander, who plays back up just onto the offside, just off the pitch there, and Cant picks it up, and there's no run. And yes, here's Cant again now, about to move in, bowling to Rowley, one slip in place. Rowley tries to swip, and there's a half a shout for LBW there, and that looked like it was just drifting down the leg side, and it wasn't a very intentional sweep there from Rowley. Didn't put much behind it, but it struck him on the front part as he went down there. Now here he is again, facing up to Cant. Quicker one this time, and Rowley hits 4. Yes, there's runs up there to the third man boundary. No third man in place, and he just waited on that one from Cant, and it bounced a bit outside off stump, leant back and just played it down past the left hand of slip. That's Paul Newton there, and it went in the gap between backward point and the wideish slip, about second slip there. Now they've put changing the field here for Tynedale. It's Stevenson who's gone now to a bit straighter there at deep backward point on the edge of the circle. And Cant bobs one up this time, and it's full, and Rowley just drives it off, middle and off there, up towards extra cover, where Rainford picks it up off the ground, and there's no run. It's 83 for 5 now. Rowley's on 5, Patterson on 34. In goes Cant again now, and bowls, and Rowley's forward, defending again, up here towards deep mid-off this time, and there's no run. Picked up now there in that position, and Cant finishes his over, takes his jumper and cap off the umpire, and after 26 overs, Tynedale 83 for 5, I beg your pardon, Shotley Bridge 83 for 5 in the first innings here. Patterson 34, and the new batsman Rowley 5 not out. The men out so far: Milburn, Greenwell, Allen, Burden and Hall, and it was Allen with 25, the only one of those group to make any impact on the score. But Newton it is to take up the attack, coming in now, bowling to Patterson, who edges, and it's straight along the floor. Oh my goodness me. He was sort of wafted at it, but it's almost as if he played a waft with soft hands there. The ball dug in, went down and just stayed on the ground and whistled along it into the hands of Newton. So Patterson again now faces Newton, and it's fuller this time, and Patterson's driving the ball up there to Renton, who's at deep mid-off this time, and he picks up and lifts his right leg up to polish the ball on his thigh. Didn't want to bend too far over there. Renton, he may have some overs to bowl later on as he opened the bowling this afternoon for Tynedale. Here's Newton again now, who bowls to Patterson, who again tries to drive a full ball but doesn't time it, and the ball runs out, and a couple of bounces there to Rainford again in at extra cover, who picks the ball up and gives it a good polish. There's a good red mark on his right thigh now, on his trousers. He's been busy this afternoon. He's picked up in there numerous times as Newton turns to come in towards us again now. He's there and bowls, and he's half a shout there for LBW as that one kept a little low, and Patterson tried to turn it away to the leg side, and it struck his pad and it rolled out there to Percival at mid-wicket, I beg your pardon, and he picked it up, and there was no run, and it's going to be Fletcher to throw the ball back to Newton now. As some more spectators just come in the main gate away to the right hand side there, making their way towards the decking here at Prior's Flat. Newton again, and there's an edge, and it just bounced in front of Cant there at first slip, and it's Patterson who survives another one. And Cant did really well to take that. He turned his face out the way in case it popped up off the ground there. He must have known it was just inches short it was. You could see that even without the binoculars up here in the clubhouse. So Patterson edges Cant just short of Cant there at first slip. So Patterson gets another chance. Newton in. Full hit on the full up, and there's a chance of a run out. It's thrown at the stumps, and there's a miss there at the top end from Fletcher at mid-on, and it comes through, and it would have been it would have been 6s and 7s there if that one had hit for Patterson, but he gets away up to the top end for that single at the end of the 27th over. Maximum of 50 here this afternoon, and Shotley Bridge 89 for 5, I think that is 84 for 5 on the scoreboard. 35 to Patterson, 5 to Jack Rowley, and it's going to be Patterson on strike. We've got a lady over there just sitting on her phone, texting away. I wonder who she's texting. Or on the internet or something. Is Kant about to take up the attack? He's in bowls, and there's a cut shot from Patterson. He leant on that one and kept it down, but it goes straight along the ground to Stevenson there at backward point. So we've got one slip, a short third man. We haven't got a back. Yes, we've got a deep backward square leg. We've got a mid wicket, a mid off, a mid on, an extra cover, a cover, and a backward point. And the next one from Kant to Patterson, and he just defends this one back to the bowler, and there's no run. So Kant comes back towards his mark here. The confidence still there for Tynedale. Patterson, he's got a job to do here for the visitors. Drives a full ball, and he's going to get one up to Fletcher there at deep mid-off. And that was another fuller ball from Kant, and Patterson there got his front foot right inside it. And now Rowley's on to strike, the left-hander. Score's gone to 85 for 5. Rowley with one slip to contend with here, and 3 catches close to the wicket. He plays that one again, that nice eased back foot late shot out there to backward point this time. He doesn't get it in the gap between that wideish slip, and Kant obviously realises that's Rowley's shot. We've got a wide slip and a backward point in there at the moment, and there's a full ball, and it's hit square over to the right this time, the offside, where Parker fields down there deep cover point in front of the house end and throws in, and Rowley comes through for 1. The score goes to 86. He goes to 6, not out now, and it's Kant who just moves back into position here just after 3 o'clock here at Prior's Flat this afternoon. Kant moves in now and bowls, and Patterson looks for a single there for a defensive shot to the leg side, but Rain Federides who rushes round to pick that one up, and that's the end of the over. No run off the last ball there, and so there we go. 28 completed now overs in the first innings here. We started on time at 1:30, and we've been going for an hour and 37 minutes now, and 5 wickets down, 5 for 86. Shotley bridge, and it's Rowley on to strike. So here we go. We've got David Newton about to bowl. Can he get his 3rd wicket of the afternoon here? He's moved up the old Tynedale bowling list now, as Rowley takes this one to the leg side. And it just runs out there to Percival, who's at mid wicket. So we've got a slip, a backward point, slip a gully, a backward point, a deep cover point, an extra cover, a mid off, a mid on, a mid wicket, and a deep backward square leg. That's Dan Parker over there on the popular side of the ground here, in front of the tables there, which are all occupied by at least one person at this moment. As Newton bowls again now to Rowley, who plays that one out to the offside, and there's no run. Rainford picks it up in at extra cover there, directly between us and the scoreboard up in that top left hand corner as we look at the play here. And there's a young lad there with a mini football. Doesn't look as if he wants to play football with maybe his dad there at the moment, but Newton's in again now, and that's turned round the corner up here to Parker. A deep square leg from Rowley, and Parker throws in now, and they've got 1 run. The score goes to 87 for 5. Shotley Bridge in the 29th. Rowley's gone to 7. Patterson on to strike, the right-hander, 36. 1 slip, a gully again, and backward point, deep cover point, and extra cover mid-off, mid-on, a mid-wicket, and a deep square leg. Newton bowls a slower ball this time, and Patterson was on the charge there. He looked was going to go for that one, but he saw Newton just run his fingers over it, and it was a good length as well, and a little plume of dust flew up as the ball pitched there, and Patterson just moves forward now to tap that bit down. So there was no run, a slower ball the last time. Will it be a cutbacker this time? And it's on middle stump this time, and it's turned up to Scott there at deep square leg in front of the tennis courts for a single this time from Patterson, and he goes to 37, and the score goes to 88 for 5 now. Shotley Bridge in the 29th over here. We've got one more spectator up there at the scoreboard now. Well, that'll be the warmest part of the ground with the sun out beating down off that corrugated fence behind it. As here's Newton in towards us again over the wicket, buzz to Rowley, who's forward and drives, and that's going to be stopped nicely there by Fletcher, diving to his right at deep mid-off. And it didn't stop the one run off the last ball though, but it certainly saved 2 or maybe even 3 there. So at the end of the 29th, Shotley Bridge 89 for 5. It's Patterson who's 37 not out, and Rowley who's 8 not out. The men out so far are Milburn, Greenwell, Allen, Burton and Hall. The wickets fell at 10, 15, 51, 62 and 78, and it's 1 wicket to Renton, 1 to Scott, 1 to Cant and 2 to David Newton. And that's where we leave you now on Cricket West Tyne on Spreaker Internet Radio, as the new over is about to get underway here at Priors Flat on a beautiful sunny afternoon here, and we've lost most of the cloud now. It's all disappeared off. But yes, that's where we leave you now for this first broadcast. Our next broadcast is scheduled at 4 o'clock, so do join us then if you can. I'll leave you with Shotley Bridge in the first innings, 89 for 5, and Rowley on strike with James Percival about to go into bowl. I'll speak to you again at 4 o'clock.